My name's Tony Falco, and I'm going to go through slides very quickly and get to a demo very quickly. I've been told that the best presentations at PDXTech Meetup are the shortest ones. So lacking any other strength, that's what I'll have. By the way, who's the gentleman who moved here from California for a slower pace of life? That's not how we roll here. No. We're out on St. Patrick's Day working it. So, well, let's go here. So 10 years ago, there are databases in production that weren't even around 6 or 7 years ago, 30, 25 to 30 databases. There's been an explosion in databases. And what that's meant is people are using multiple databases in production. And they're doing this because these databases have all been specialized, and they've been databases that have been open sourced by Facebook and by Yahoo. Like Hadoop is a data warehousing or a data processing database. They were built to do a specific job and then open sourced. And open source took some of these ideas and built lots of other databases. I actually founded a company before Orchestrate called Basho, which makes Riak. It's a distributed key value store, which sounds a lot of blah, 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 but it's in use by Apple, it's in use by State Farm, and it's a replacement for Oracle for certain use cases. But basically, there's been an explosion of databases, and with that, there was an explosion of complexity. If you look at Imgur, they're running like 4 or 5, depending on how you count the way they're using Redis in production. And this is not uncommon. This gives a lot of flexibility, but it also brings a lot of complexity to it. So there's costs associated with it. And you see, a very simple website has actually some pretty complex infrastructure behind it. This is just to see your cat GIFs, you've got this kind of complexity. And so that's fine. I mean, that's what you need to do. And they've taken advantage of what all these databases are good at, but the cost is the complexity to run them. It's bespoke infrastructure. You have to take the pieces and put them together in a custom way for yourself over and over again. And if you want to build a new app, you need to grab another database and install it and manage it. And the management costs are even greater than the installation costs for a lot of these databases.
3 minutes.
The future is modular. Wow. Okay. So what we're talking about is composable apps. We're talking about applications. Like if you look where we're going right now, you can see this composability, this idea that you can take services from all sorts of different providers and piece them together to build something. You can take the application layer from Heroku. You can use SendGrid and Twilio to do the phone and the mail, the messaging and the outreach to your users. We use SendGrid, and we use PagerDuty, and we use Amazon, and we use Heroku for our service. Services using other services to build services that people can build services on. That's the future. It sounds ridiculous, but it's actually true. What we're headed for is a world in which front-end developers can grab services from all over the place, put them together, and instead of installing all of the attendant underlying software and managing it yourself, there are services that you can grab to do this. What we do is we are a databases as a service, if you will. We've taken a bunch of the best NoSQL databases, and we give you key value search, full text search, which a lot of people are using, graphs, so social graph, and events, so activity feeds, time series, all in one API. We're going to be adding things like geo, very simple geo. Geo's very hard, so we've learned that. We'll be adding more things to the API. So the API starts with 4 of the most used NoSQL databases, and we'll add things like pub/sub. Now, let me do a quick demo. Woo. All right, let's go. All right, now since you guys don't want to watch me, so the thing to note in this demo is you're about to see what it would take you several hours to set up if you're running the individual database or even provisioning the services. And I've written some JSON beforehand so that you guys don't have to watch me type JSON. Let's create a database. We've created a database. Let's create a database called people in a collection that we have. Let's see if that works. All right, now let's put some people in the database. So Tony. How am I doing on time? 1 minute. Okay. Let's see why this isn't working. So I've just created. I should show you what I've done. So what I've done is I created a record called Tony. This is an object called Tony in the database. Now I'm going to create one called Ian. He's my co-founder who lives in London. And I hit insert, and you get a nice little Oh, what did I do wrong here? Let me just do the other one. See, live demo. Let me just do Matt. Let me do this. I shouldn't have pre-written and not tested my, let's just say, Ian Plosker, 27, and London. We're going to do a simplified version for time. I'm going to say put, and you get it back. Now let's do search. This is an absolutely different database. Now we created a record, and it's already been indexed. And now I'm going to do location, London. Boom, you've got it back. Can I do one more query type?
Go ahead.
Yeah, now, and I can do this. So this is full Lucene. If you're using Elasticsearch or any other Lucene database, you could use this database as a replacement for it and run it as service, and we're doing the operations for you. This is something that people really like to see. Let's do Ian. And we'll create a relation called friend to collection people to key Tony, and we do a put. So it says 204. That says it's correct. Now we go to get, and we say key Ian, and we say what's the edge, what's the vertex, what's the graph that we want to test. We say friend, and it comes back Tony Falco. I've just used full text search, key value, and social graph in less than 2 minutes after showing you that. So that's what that does. That's what we're building here for Portland. One last thing I'd like to add. If you're doing any kind of nonprofit or charity sort of work, like we gave free services to Hack the Flood in London, Safecast, which does, it allows people to track radiation. We're going to be giving them services for, we sponsored their event in Tokyo. Or if you have for example, Epicodus, I think we are talking to already. If you have any kind of educational program, you can use our service for free into infinity. We want people to learn how to use. Our goal is that people who've never used databases before, designers, front-end devs, UX devs, whatever, people who've never had a chance to learn this sort of infrastructure can now build much more powerful apps using our database as a service. Stop running databases and start building applications is sort of our motto. So get with us if you want any of the service, if you qualify for some of the free services. And we do have a free tier, and it's $2 per million operations, and you can cancel at any time. So the price is unbeatable. Thank you. Woo. Yes, sir.
Export. How do I export my data?
We give you you can at any time you can cancel and export your data into your S3 bucket. We give you a key. It's called it's the same as backup.
JSON or SQL?
JSON. We'll be adding support for SQL in the interface later. Probably we're going to do very simple geo, pub sub, and then we're going to figure out whether we're going to use one of the H-based libraries for supporting SQL queries, or just actually implement a SQL interface ourselves. But no lock-in. Our key is you can cancel at any time, you can take your data away at any time, and we're actually going to be writing blog posts on how to export out of Orchestrate. Any other questions? Yes?
Backups.
Same thing. You just give us your S3 bucket, and we will back it up to you every night. It's databases. Everybody loves databases. The most exciting thing on the technology. Yes, sir?
Why wouldn't someone use it?
Somebody wouldn't use us if they already have they've already customized their application for a specific database. They wouldn't use us if we currently aren't on one of the networks that they use. So we're on Amazon right now. We're going to be adding a European data center and a non-Amazon data center in Q1. So you wouldn't use us for the latency. You don't want to traverse the WAN to access your data layer. Yes, sir.
How about regulations like HIPAA and stuff like that?
We aren't HIPAA compliant yet, but we built HIPAA compliant databases with React, so I'm well familiar with this. We're going to have replication, we're going to have on-disk encoding as an option, and we're going to also be in the ISO certified data centers that HIPAA requires. Yes?
What about licensing with like a private installation?
We'll just talk to people about that. We really haven't. Right now we're focusing, because we're 12 people, we're focusing on the service. It comes up a lot. People want us to run it on-prem for them. We talked to a couple of banks who are interested in that. So we're going to let the market tell us what to do. Anything else? It's databases.
Can you tell he
All right.
likes databases?
Pardon me?
Can you tell he likes databases?
And by the way, we don't build databases. We just take open source NoSQL databases. So when you want to migrate away, we can tell you which databases you can use to do this yourself. All right. Thank you. Great event.